And just like that, we back. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And it ain't gonna happen this episode. Dang, it ain't gonna happen this episode, but it's all right. It's all good. We gonna live to fight another day, y'all. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello.
Yes, and if you guys do not know what video this is Real Housewives of Dubai Season 2, Episode 7, y'all. Whew, this was a good episode. The end part was. It was a lot of whatnot scenes. But y'all, I'm mad because I have to defend the lady that I said I was not going to defend this entire season. A lot of things is going wrong here. One, me liking Stansberry. That's the first thing. I didn't like Stansberry last season. I knew for sure I wasn't going to like her this season. Y'all have made me like Stansberry. Okay. 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 Fine, whatever it is, what it is. So, we going to get into the episode, y'all, because me and Mrs. Best got a lot of opinions, and we have a lot of opinions and mind changes that one of us has had. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So the episode actually shows, but before we get into it, I want to talk about Sarah in the opening scene talking to this man. Y'all know last week, Mrs. Best was not with us last week. She was on vacation. And I had talked about in my video, which a lot of you have commented on the comment section saying, thank you for bringing up Sarah and her son and how he's behaving and how she's not paying attention to it, because that really did bother me, y'all. That bothered me to every extent. So to see Sarah on the phone with this man talking about when you come into Dubai, and he goes, oh, I'll be there soon. And she goes, no, when you move in here. And it's like, Sarah, you don't know this man. Like, why is you doing this? So I'm going to give Mrs. Best, as she saw what happened last week, the moment to give her opinion on what she thought about Sarah and her son and this man.
Seek help, whether it be from social services or God or the white man practicing Bali meditation. Seek help. Nah, she's tripping. Kids don't need to be exposed to too much. She's not allowing him the full experience of being a kid. It's just like, yes, you should respect and allow parents to do what they want. But then at the same time, there's a line and a boundary that she's definitely crossing, and it's impacting this kid's childhood negatively. And I also think she gonna cause the little boy to maybe think he like boys, whether he do or don't. And nothing's wrong with that, but she's playing with too many touchy areas.
I thought I clicked it. Yeah, I thought I clicked it. I clicked something on my computer. It's opening now. If it happens naturally for him to like men, then fine. I'm not opposed to it. But to not correct inappropriate behavior, because regardless if he don't like boys or not, he don't need to be twerking in front of no man that he don't know. And going and doing all of this extra frenziness that he's doing. It's very inappropriate. So I didn't want to like make this the core subject of this show, but I want to make sure we address this because we see her on the phone with this man in the opening scene, and I'm just like, Sarah, you need to be talking to this man about boundaries with your kid first before you just open up your heart and then just marry the next man for him to just be on this show with you. Like, that's just what I'm saying.
Sarah think with her coochie. That's what the problem is. Bitch ain't celibate. She ain't fooling nobody.
Oh, I'm not going there. Okay. Yeah, so the scene opens up with Chanel Ayan. It is the premiere day of her makeup line. She has her sister there. I forgot the sister's name. I think it's Ephraim, and the brother's name is Sadiq. I believe those are the two siblings' names. I could be wrong, y'all. I forgot already. But she has them there, and they were talking about in their country, they didn't even know makeup existed. And Chanel Ayan is actually sporting her bald head. So she actually shaved her head bald, and I actually think it looks good on her. It actually fits her face frame for her to not to have any hair. So she has a great jaw structure and everything. So I like it. We actually learned that her son is actually a model as well. He got a Burberry contract, which congratulations to him because that is a hard contract to get when you're a person of color. So congratulations to him. Um, Also, as they're preparing, she's doing a fashion show while wearing the makeup, which I thought was an odd way to display the makeup because I thought you would have like the model sit down and you show like the different types of texture of makeup, the eyelashes, the eyeshadow, and all this, and the concealer and everything. I thought she was going to do it like that.
That's because Chanel Ayan is just the face of this brand. We know this lady is into couture and fashion. She ain't putting on makeup. She don't even do her own makeup.
So Brooks was writing her confessional. Oh,
I actually did it. I can't believe this whole episode. I actually felt like Brooks made a lot of sense.
she
I
did, and
still
that's just
understand her
crazy.
wig line, but aside from the wig line, she did well this episode. She did.
I Brooks made a lot of sense to me too this whole episode, and I'm starting to look at her differently now. I didn't like her in the beginning, but I might be seeing her point of view a little bit more. So as the models prepare and everything, Shanayan is sitting in the corner eating a banana, drinking some water because she's nervous. She's praying to God, like, God, please make this work. Please make this work. And she's really having a moment of seldom. And what you guys do not know is that is a humbling thing to do when you don't know the unknown. And she's speaking out to God and speaking out to the universe, saying, please let this work. Please let this work. And I appreciate her for doing that in that way, even though that may have just been a moment just for her. I'm glad the cameras caught her in that moment because it actually humanized her for me. So the late everyone gets there. It's with the exception of Lisa and Brooks. They're late, but everyone gets there. And when I say Caroline Stansberry, when I tell you you did the damn thing with that hair in that dress, you looked amazing. Y'all, Caroline Stansberry has been killing it. Like, I hate I had to up her like this because, guys, I told y'all, I did not like her last season. I could not stand her. This season, I'm actually liking her. And I cannot lie. She is bringing it this season. Not only this scene, but the next scene at her housewarming party, Caroline Stansberry looked phenomenal. So I'm gonna have to give it to her. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. She looks good. Her and Sergio are there. Talene and Rafi are there. Sarah shows up with Saba. Y'all know I don't like Saba, but thank God she went in this episode too much. So as they're getting there, this fashion show starts and the models are now walking, and everybody is confused. No one really understands if this is a fashion show or if this is for makeup. And everyone in their confessionals are giving like big ups to her, but at the same time, really shading her, leave it to Chanel Ayan to make it about fashion when at the same time that she's here, we're looking at makeup here. So Chanel Ayan comes out in this beautiful couture gown that is actually 7 foot long. It was really beautiful on her skin. I really loved it. And she's walking out and making a fashion statement. She has the men carrying the train, which was also a big signature piece, and she makes her entrance. And I thought it was the most extra thing I've ever seen, but this wouldn't be Chanel Ayan, right? If we were talking about extra. So, Mrs. Best, what did you think about the makeup, the fashion show, the shade in the confessionals? What did you think about that?
The shade was appropriate. I didn't understand the need for a fashion show at a makeup launch. She really could have just done pictures or had some makeup artists available, but I don't know. I didn't really care. I wasn't interested in any of this episode, y'all, really until the end. I was bored as hell.
Well, yeah, that's fair. I can't argue with that. So the scene moves on to the mixture of the night. All the ladies are sitting with each other, and Lisa Milan gets there late, as we said, and so did um, Brooks. Now, Brooks met her actually in the hallway, and Chanel Young's like, "Why are you late? Really?" And she goes, "Look, you couldn't even get in here. There was traffic. I'm sorry I missed it, but you look great." And so Brooks made her way out to everybody, and she pretty much hugs and kisses on everybody. And it was funny because the two Carolines both wore red, and Talene actually pointed that out, and she was like, "Oh, that's funny how they were red." And Stansberry shaded the hell out of her in that confessional. I was like, "Damn, Stansberry, you is killing me with this British humor. I can't take it." So the ladies sit down, and it's awkward because Talene and Brooks and Rafi are sitting at one section of the couch. And Rafi actually was polite and actually said, "Hey, Brooks, how you doing?" And she goes, "Good, how are you?" And Talene doesn't speak, and she goes, "It's awkward." And what Talene tells us in her confessional is that she has tried to reach out to Brooks, but she's getting very minimal responses. So she doesn't know exactly how to approach the situation. So Chanel Ayan comes over and she's talking with the girls and she introduces them to her brother and sister. And when she does that, everyone's looking, especially Sarah. Sarah's looking at the sister like, "Oh, wait, this is the oldest sister?" Because the sister does look young, though. The oldest sister, she does. She like her and Chanel Ayan could be the same age. Um, and as that happens, Sergio pulls Sarah to the side and was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, I don't see much of you anymore. We don't talk anymore." And Sarah told him, "It's your wife. Look, I know she came over the other night and tried to make amends with me, but I don't know how to take her. Like, I just don't know if we'll ever repair it." And I'm looking at Sarah like, Stansberry had a point. You intercept yourself in people's business when you don't need to. I don't understand why you don't see that. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about the interactions and Sarah and this whole Stansberry thing?
I don't know. All of it's very, very strange to me. It seems like half of the cast wants to have a problem with Stansberry, then the other half of the cast wants to be up her ass. So it's just. I'm glad that people are getting along, but it's just very strange. Like the timing. This season's weird. I feel like the dynamic, especially with the beginning and the earlier parts of this episode, I feel like it shows that Bravo waited way too long for season two. Like what took so long? So yeah.
I agree. I agree. It was really an awkward scene, nonetheless. But I just felt like they had to they had to put it where the editing room table applies. So now we get to this moment to where the food is coming out, and Brooks doesn't know what it is. So Talene tells her what the dish was, and so they begin talking. And as they begin talking, Brooks takes a moment to say, "Hey, I apologize." Now, she didn't say what she was apologizing for. She just said, "I'm sorry if my words hurt you," or something to that extent. And Talene says, "Thank you. I appreciate it, but do you mean it?" And she goes, "Of course, bitch, I mean it." And I said, "Damn, you got to say it like that?" I said, "Has she been drinking yet?" Because that was way too aggressive. And I was telling, I'd be like, "Well, damn, I had to be all of that." But Talene takes it on the chin and
Right.
laughs at it.
Too much. That should have told her right there, though, on Talene's part, just with how she acted through the episode. Like, though Brooks apologized and acted positive at times, like, she was also quick to get extremely aggressive. Like, that should have told you right there, like, oh, this bitch she ain't for real. That should have told you.
Absolutely, I agree. And but Talene don't know how to read people. I'm starting to pick up on that a little bit with her. She's not really much of a I know how to read a situation. She just taking everything at its value and then putting different context on it. So that was pretty much that scene. They tell the Talene and Brooks tell the ladies that Talene tells the ladies she apologized, and everybody was kind of confused, especially Lisa. It was Lisa and Nayan's face for me. It's like, well, what did she? Because Lisa was like, well, what did you apologize for? And Talene was all like, yeah, she was accountable, and Ayan was like, accountable. Wait, what's going on here? And we're all confused because one, I don't feel like Brooks really owed Talene an apology. Not to this extent. No. If she was apologized, maybe for ignoring her and not considering her feelings, but at the same time, Talene kind of brought that on herself. I based on that dinner that they had, I kind of feel like Talene brought that on herself because and I'm gonna explain this again at the end. So I'm gonna come back to this. I promise you, I'm gonna come back to it this time. So the scene is pretty much over. The next scene is we show Brooks meeting up with Sarah and Lisa Milan, and they're having lunch. And when they're talking, Lisa was like, "Well, I was feeling a way about Sarah bringing up my marriage and everything, but we were able to, squash it and move forward." And the scene, I'm not gonna talk about what they talked about at the beginning. I'm gonna get to the part where they talked about to lean. They were all like, "Oh yeah, you apologized to her," and she goes, "Yeah." And so Lisa was like, "I need to know what you were apologizing for." And she goes, I was just apologizing because I called her a beggar when she and I went out to dinner. Now, we didn't hear her say that in that scene. So that may have been something they cut out. But Caroline Brooks said, I apologize for the beggar. And they was like, well, what was she begging to do? And she kind of didn't want to say it, but in her confessional, she said that Talene had begged her
She
to be on
wanted to say
TV.
it. If she didn't want to say it, she wouldn't have mentioned it. Who the fuck mentions stuff and then be like, yeah, I can't get into that. You want to get into it. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. And I felt like Brooke should have just laid it on thick. She wanted to get on the show, and Bravo showed the receipts. When there was an event, Talene was there. So it could absolutely have been a circumstance where Talene wanted to be on the show and she was using Brooks to her advantage. And maybe she begged probably was the wrong adjective to use. Maybe she was very, assertive in wanting to be on the show, especially finding out that Nina Ali was not coming back. So honestly, I could see a little bit of persistence with Talene. I really can. Can you, Mrs. Best?
She does give thirsty slightly. Her husband too. They're the type of people that want to show off what they have, and nothing's wrong with that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they make good money and stuff, but you don't have to have fame or popularity to like continue making money. Just live your life and stop looking for acceptance. That's what Celine gives me, but that's just my opinion.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. So so we move on from there. We have a scene with Chanel Ayan at the beach dragging this wagon, and I was hollering the entire time. I was like, she can't just never be normal, can she? She was dragging this wagon to this nice little umbrella, little cozy situation. She has some fruit and some drinks because she's finna actually have a moment with her brother and sister. And I do appreciate this side of her because I like seeing the connections and them talking about their childhood. And her brother and sister really just congratulated her, and they talked about how some of the proceeds from the makeup line is actually going to go back to their heritage and actually help with, the unruly practices that they do to children in their village. So they're going to do that, which I think is an amazing awareness. I hope that if she does it next season, Bravo can kind of showcase it. I don't know how open the people will be to being on TV like that, but I'm hoping that's something that she does do for her storyline next season. So that was pretty much it. Mrs. Best, do you have anything you want to add so I can move on?
No, not at all.
Okay. So we're gonna move on, y'all. So the next scene we have is Lisa Milan and Rich. They end up doing date night, which was very sweet. I actually really appreciated Rich for this conversation because it made me look at him differently now. I didn't know how to really size him up because he just seemed like he was just there. But this actually made me like him if he sticks with it now. Don't let Lisa tell us at this reunion that he ain't did nothing what he said he did. But she's just said that she's overwhelmed. She's tired. She has the business. She has everything going on for her. So she has to deal with the kids. They don't have a nanny. And he was like, well, it was, and pretty much he said, well, you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. You're a good wife. You're a good mother. And I appreciate you. So when he said those things, even she was kind of taken aback. She was like, oh my God, like that's what I wanted to hear. Because she was expecting the worst. If you guys remember last episode, she didn't know where she stood with him when it came to that because she didn't want to complain about her life being too much. So now that she knows that he's willing to step up to the plate, she's like, look, you need to take the boys to soccer practice. They need to make sure that they get that done. He goes, I'll make sure to do that. And he goes, do you want like a push gift, like what do you say, a Hermes bag? And I was like, ooh, well, damn, it's that easy. Shit. He ain't my type, y'all. He ain't cute to me at all. But I was like, damn, a push gift being a Hermes bag. Okay, Rich. You won me over with that one. I'm sorry. I can't fight Rich on this one, y'all. How'd you feel about that scene, Mrs. Best?
I felt like she was over fucking dramatic and did too much with the tears, but I did like, don't laugh at me. I was
I'm
like,
laughing at you
girl,
because I thought about that when I was watching that scene. I was like, watch Mrs. Best talk about, oh, she's doing too much of this
I
dramatic.
ain't ruining no date and no good dinner that my man about to pay for because I want to cry because I took on some shit that I didn't actually have to take on. But it was nice to see that her husband cares, and it's nice to see them actually put the work into their marriage. So I do love and enjoy that.
I agree. I loved and enjoyed the scene too. It made me, it really humanized him for me because I didn't know how I felt about him because he was there and he was just kind of just like nonchalant. So actually seeing his personality, and I do believe he really is like this in real life, and I actually could see what pulled her to him. Like I could actually see why she was really for this because he does seem like when he's in your corner, he's in your corner, and there's no getting out of it. I hope I'm not wrong about you, Rich. Don't be coming on. Don't be having no hoes nowhere or nothing else out there in the streets. I'm just saying. Because Bravo messy ass, these fans will put that shit out. So please be faithful to Lisa. We rooting for y'all. We rooting for any black woman being happy. I don't know matter how she get it. As long as it's okay and as long as it's legal. So that was pretty much that scene. The next scene we looked at was Chanel Ayan setting up for Brooks, not Brooks, ooh, not Brooks, Stansberry, Talene, and Lisa to be on this nice waterfall balcony with the pool right there. I thought that was amazing. That was so beautiful. Y'all, I can't wait to go to Dubai because I want to experience
Right.
this.
Right. I want to go so bad.
I
Let's
cannot.
go.
We going. Trust me, we are going. But all the ladies get there. Of course, there's some subtle shade in the confessionals. You know, Bravo recycling subtle shade and shit. Because I could have sworn Lisa said that episode one in the confessional, but whatever. We gonna move on from there. So the ladies talk about, well, what Lisa shares with the ladies is that her, Brooks, and Sarah are planning a girls' trip to Bali, and they're inviting all the ladies. Now, I've never been to Bali, but I've seen it. It is beautiful. Oh my gosh, another place I would love to go to. I cannot wait to get this travel essentials up. But
I heard
as
it's cheap to go there.
I
Like
did too. Someone else told me that it's a cheap ass trip. So now, see, this is what I'm talking about here. So they said eat, pray, party. Kind of a resemblance to Eat, Pray, Love, that movie. Um, Lisa's going to be the eat, Sarah's going to be the pray, and Brooks is going to be the party. Now, at first, when I heard this, I was like, I think y'all got it mixed up. I feel like Sarah don't need to pray for shit. But I forgot she's the charm. She's the spiritual one. So I was like, okay.
does she even pray? Or is it just a meditation? Or is she, I mean, she's still fasting, celebrates Ramadan. So, maybe she'll teach them like some of the Muslim ways of praying. I don't know. I don't like how they like chopped up the eat, pray, love thing. I don't like how they tried to change that. I
I don't
love that
like that
book.
either.
Love the book, love the movie, and I didn't appreciate what they did with it. And let's have the audacity to put Brooks in charge of anything. She's good to pay for the bar, but I personally don't feel like Brooks is gonna have them in classy establishments. And like we'll see later down the line, all she had was the club and some lounges. Do better. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So in terms of ladies was all like, what we gonna do with Brooks being the party? We gonna fall asleep? We gonna go to sleep? And I laughed at that because Chanel said, look, when I go out with Brooks, she always be half asleep. And I believe it because Brooks be tired. You know she do. And
Half
she goes,
sleep, slurring her
yep.
words, one eyelid
Because I lick
open.
it in head, yep.
Yep.
So after this scene, Lisa's messy behind, and I don't mind it because we need some drama on the show. They all can't just get along, y'all. Lisa was like, I was really surprised that Brooke apologized to you, Talene. She goes, yeah, I was so happy about it. And she said, when we talked about it at dinner, I asked her, I was like, what are you apologizing for? And because to my recollection, you didn't do anything wrong. And she tells Talene, she said, Brooke said she apologized you for calling you a beggar. And Talene's face just dropped. Now, when Talene's face did that, that means to me that that's not the first time she's heard that.
Nope. She's mad it came out on camera.
Absolutely. Because Lisa got that wrong. Lisa was like, oh, I thought that she had knew. She did know. She didn't think all of you knew. And now you just exploited it to now to Stansberry and Shania. So yeah, I knew Talene knew. She goes, well, apparently hell hasn't frozen over. And I'm just like, I wish Talene moved differently. And let me tell you why I wish Talene would have moved differently, because that wouldn't have phased me. I would have said, absolutely. She on the show. She my friend of 9 years. I got businesses the same way she got businesses. They asked me to be on the show. I
She
said I knew
reacted
her.
like a guilty person
Mm-hmm.
because what James just said is the truth. If he get on TV and then bring me on or something as a friend of or whatever, you can't you can't really get mad at the react. Talene gave herself away, in my
She did.
opinion. Yeah, she didn't deny anything that was being said either. She only was upset with the fact that it was revealed. If people really pay attention to the whole all the things that she was saying. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't buy Talene no more. Now I'm looking at her with a side eye.
I'm looking at her with a side eye too, because to me, and I think what it is, because we're gonna get to the whole Caroline's housewarming party in just a second, y'all. But for me, at this point of view, from what I am seeing, see, I think we pay too close attention to the context and not really looking at the principle of it. So if we look at the principle of it, Talene told Brooks, and she didn't deny this. She told Brooks, look, if anybody talks about me, make sure you tell me. So what Brooks did out of principle, no matter how silly it was, hey, Caroline Stansberry said that she saw your hoo-ha and she told everybody. So I'm just letting you know, and I don't like her for doing that, because I feel like, we're women at the end of the day. So so when I looked at the principle of it, yes, Brooks made a big deal after the fact that it was squashed between Stansberry and Talene. But if we look at the real principle at it, that is what Talene asked her to do. So I'm kind of looking at it from a different point of view. I'm not looking at the principle of it. You asked her to do this, she did it. And then what you didn't do in that moment is say, look, I don't think it's a big deal. Let's move on from it. I will talk to her. You can go ahead and just, keep be my lookout in case someone else does the same thing. But I got it from here. I would have have more respect for Talina if she did it that way. That's not what she did, y'all. So that's why I'm saying I'm looking at it differently now than I did before. How are you with this, Mrs. Brooks? Mrs. Brooks, Mrs. Best.
I said, who that? um, I don't know. I still some of the things Talena's done separate from what you just stated. I agree with everything you said. Because the way that she behaved on this episode did make me think about, the past. But at the same time, other ways that she's moving that are shadier. I've been bothered the whole time at how, when it comes to Stansberry, like you go out of your way to make peace with somebody after your best friend defends them without giving your friend any warning or anything like that. You could do what you want to do, but if James defend me or any of my good friends defends me, the way that Brooks was willing to defend Talene against Stansberry, and then goes and makes friends with the person that I got into it with for them, I'd be bothered. So I thought that move in general was shady, and it probably goes along with some of the many things about Talene that, in my opinion, seem true, which we will get to later. I can't really say too much now
Yeah, yeah.
because most of it's at the end. But yeah,
Hmm.
Talene has moved shady.
She has, absolutely. And it took me this moment to realize that, oh, I see what you're doing. You trying to get in just in case Brooks gets off the show, so that way you have somebody else to film with, or vice versa. The more people you show up to, the more they'll probably cast you on the show full time. I see how you moving, Talene. You ain't slick. I see you. So it's the day of Caroline Stansberry and Sergio's housewarming party. And before the guests get there, they're upstairs getting ready, and they have this conversation about, she talked to Yasmin, and she said that Yasmin's going to ease up on, making fun of him and everything. And I said, that is not what Yasmin said. Yasmin was like, look, you do it, so why can't I? And Yasmin's not, and let me explain something to y'all. Yasmin is not coming from this place of evil, wicked stepfather. She's looking at it from the standpoint that she's only 10 years younger than this man at the end of the day. And she can't take parenting steps from him because what the hell do you know at 27 years old? That's what's going on here. So she's just basically saying, like, okay, yeah, I'll ease him because you told me to, but realistically, it's probably not gonna happen. And he's sitting there talking about, I love Yasmin. I love it. That's my daughter. That's my daughter. And I'm looking at him like, fool, you wouldn't even be old enough to have this little girl if we were to reverse time. Cut it out. Oh, y'all, I can't stand Sergio, y'all. Like, that is
I
like
don't
you.
like him at all. I've never liked him. He's always annoyed me. I also don't trust him. But I'm also annoyed with Caroline because she's actually married. These are actually her children. The expectation to have somebody this young to be a stepfather to your children, or to even expect your kids to treat him as if he's their superior when he's really not, it is baffling. But she's got a great plastic surgeon, and the house is beautiful. So
I'm saying. So all the ladies pretty much get there as we hear some subtle shade in their confessional. So what's being alleged is that Michael, the man she was living with Sergio on the first beginning of the season, is that Michael allegedly is paying for everything. Apparently, Caroline Brooks and Chanel Ayan were at a bar or at a club, and he was there, and he was pretty much drunk and told them that he pays the mortgage, he bought all of the furniture, he's pretty much, you know, Caroline's sugar daddy, allegedly. Now, I told y'all, if y'all go back a few of my reviews, I told y'all Michael is rich, rich. Like, Michael is playing it down like hell for these cameras. I've heard like a reliable source tell me, alleged, I'm gonna say allegedly because I don't want to out my source like that. But allegedly, Michael got money, money. Like, the shit we seen on TV ain't even a quarter of what Michael has. So when they said it, Chanel Ayan ain't got no reason to lie. Brooks, I feel like, will stretch the truth just a little bit, but I know when Chanel Ayan says it, that there's some truth to it, and I believe it. I do. And not to say, I don't think Caroline Stansberry is broke. Please don't get me wrong. I don't think she's broke at all, but she does give me why I spend my money when I could spend yours. That's what she gives me.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, I 100% believed it when they said it. I'm just saying I couldn't dispute that. I don't care what Caroline Stansberry gonna come on Twitter and say.
It makes sense for the simple fact that they came to his house for 2 weeks and ended up staying for so long.
Absolutely, because why you didn't stay at no hotel? You got all this money.
He already.
I'm just saying. She said, "The only thing old about her is her money." So if you got old money like you say you do, then why you ain't stay at no hotel for no 3 weeks or 3 months or however long?
Caroline had old money, she wouldn't be on this show. I truly believe that.
Now,
people who have old money don't last long on Housewives.
I'm just saying. Now, I know that ex-husband has old money. I know for sure he does. We saw Ladies of London. We saw what that lifestyle was like.
But settlements only go so far. So
they do. Yeah, that is true. that is true. So, y'all, as the ladies, get here and everything, y'all, when Brooks walked in, not only with an uninvited house guest, but she walked in with sage and was saging the place. And Stansberry is like, why do you have that? Is that sage? Like, the house is brand new. Why do you have that? Now, see, Stansberry, this is where you disappointed me, because I would have told Brooks, if this were me, I said, Brooks, why don't you put that sage in the middle of your cleavage where your titties is, so it can reach the top of your chin and it can sage your ass.
Right.
That would have been me. But Stansberry, she kind of have her rehearsed moment, so I get it. So when she introduces her uninvited house guest, Stansberry's like, well, I don't have enough food. And like, it's assigned seating. Like, I told you that. That's why Saba wasn't here, which, thank you, Stansberry, because I don't think I could have stomached her in this scene. So she goes, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. So what ends up happening is that Rich, which is Lisa's husband, wasn't able to make it. So that's how the young lady was able to get a seat at the table. I said, Brooks, you ain't shit over there inviting people. Well, here, there's two things. Brooks, you ain't shit for that because you know you're supposed to bring no unwanted house because you didn't need no backup to this thing. And then the next thing is Caroline Stansberry. I forgot. Black people, we cook a lot of food for days and 500 people ain't but two of us here. I forgot about that. I guess, white people measure their food and make sure they just have enough for the night. I get it.
That don't make okay.
That didn't make no sense. That little bit of trinket of food, I was like, see, I was hungry just looking at the main course. But okay. So as they're sitting down and everything, Brooks then had a few drinks. She's lit. Y'all know how she get when she lit. So she begins talking to Sarah and everything. And she's looking at Talene, and Talene was saying, I don't know what Talene said at this moment. I think it was right after the toast. I'm not gonna say a toast because the toast was so stupid, both of theirs. But she was like, "Oh, that's just fake, 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 fake." And of course, Talene ain't sitting too far from her, so she said, "Brooks, what were you saying? What were you saying, Brooks?" Brooks looked at her. She goes, "I wasn't talking to you." She goes, "Oh, okay, so you were just saying fake just to say it." She said, "I was not talking to you." And I said, "Well, damn, Brooks. Y'all, Brooks might be about it. Like, I might." I said, "Well, shit. The Brooks didn't sugarcoat nothing." She said, "I wasn't talking to you." So Lisa over there being ear hustling, being nosy, she said, "Sarah, come here." And Sarah was, trying to get from the middle of both of them. So she's like, "What's going on over there?" She goes, "I don't know. They're into it and everything." So Brooks gets up from the table and sits over there and begins talking with Lisa Milan and Sarah. And Brooks is telling her, she goes, "Talene was all trying to confront me, and I wasn't even talking about her." And Sarah's like, "Yeah, you just said fake, fake. You just talking out loud." And I said, "Sarah, shut the hell up. Nobody needs your help right now." So Talene walks over and she goes, "Oh, I just wanted to know, like, are you talking about me? Because I thought you apologized and we moved on from this." And then she had mentioned that you told Lisa I was a beggar. And Lisa said, "Oh shit." And Brooks looked at Lisa and says, "For real? Like, for real?" Like, and she goes, "Hold on, hold on." And then you heard Rafi, Talene's husband, say, "Yeah, Brooks, clear that up. Clear that up." And I said, "Oh, hell no. Wait, who who you talking to?" And Brooks was like, "Hey, stay out of this." I said, "You better tell him, Brooks." I was like, I know. And see, when he did that, y'all, because a lot of y'all on Instagram, when they was playing this little scene on YouTube and they were playing this scene, y'all was like, he was only defending his wife. He was only defending his wife. From what we saw in the edit they played, he inserted himself into that shit. Talene didn't need no help.
Listen, listen. James heard my reaction because I was finishing the episode before the live. He heard my reaction to it all. I couldn't believe that shit. I could not. Here's the thing. I done gotten into it with females like once or twice, and my husband's been around. And he sit there unless he think I'm gonna hurt somebody. He sits there, and then if he think my ass is gonna lose control, then he removes me. But other than that, he just sits there and try. You don't get involved in women's business if you a man, especially a husband. And if you're a woman, you don't need to be getting involved in a man's business to men getting into it. People should just mind their business when it comes to certain things. Your wife is independent. Just because you are married, yes, you become one, but it does not mean that you lose your independence and your ability to defend yourself. And while, yes, you want your husband to defend you against men, I don't know. The type of bitch I am, I'm going to just keep it real. Like, I don't need my husband to defend me against no woman. I just don't. I'm not trying to have him put in a situation where he can be accused of being aggressive or, potentially get arrested in a, country like Dubai. Like, if you love your partner enough, like, you're not just going to call them all the time to be, messing people up, defending you or whatever it may be. So that was like real childish and showed me that there's probably a lot of things in that relationship going on that we don't know about. I mean, of course, we not everything is going to be as perfect as it seems or as they portray it to be. But I just don't feel like either of them are very mature individually or as a couple because she was totally fine with it.
I agree. I agree. She was totally fine with it. So she walks her, so her and husband walked to the other side of the house. And Brooks was like, I'm about to leave. And before Brooks leaves, she goes, yeah, Talene, stop drinking, stop drinking. And once again, Rafi got into it. He was all like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, come on. Like, and he pressed his chest up against her. And she goes, wait, what you doing? And he goes, like, she goes, are you challenging my husband right now? And she goes, no, is your husband challenging me? And I say, yes. But see, you have to understand, this is why me and Talene ain't gonna make it. Because first of all, you should have said, you should have told your husband, look, I got this. This my friend. I got this. And then pulled her to the side and said, what is going on? But see, your husband probably chests up to you like this, which is why you don't see a problem when he does it to another woman. That was wrong as hell. So Lisa Milan, see, as I said, black women, they may not, them two may not be the best of friends, but when she see a black woman getting about to get it with another man, she stepped in there. She goes, hey, look, we not finna do this in these people's houses. And he says, I don't give a fuck about these cameras. Like, I don't give a fuck about all this. And he goes, you better watch it and everything. And she goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Lisa was like, ah. And Lisa with Lisa's face, which she
Lisa's face needs to be put on a shirt. She was genuinely, you could tell for a moment, she forgot that she was being filmed on a American show that's also available on the streaming apps throughout the world. She forgot. Her face was like, oh my God. You could tell everybody remembered where they were in that moment. Because in Dubai, there are laws. We see stuff all the time on social media about people being held in jail because they were yelling or someone yelled at them and they yelled back, especially women.
Yes.
And they are often African American. So Lisa's face.
But Lisa's face looked like she was ready to come out that wig and that and you was finna see it all, like you and then start to swinging. Like her and Brooks looked like they was finna jump them. Like
College Hill Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta watch that season again. I don't remember what she was like, but I just know she was ready to fight. Like she was like, oh, she goes, you're not finna talk to this woman like that, And they were right because he had no reason. He was saying, "To production, fuck these cameras. Y'all know what y'all know who y'all messing with." I was like, "Well, damn, like really, like your wife started this, sir." And this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm gonna come back to. Talene talking about Brooks gaslighting her was malarkey. That was bullshit. And let me tell you why that was some bullshit. Is because at the end of the day, you want a problem with her because now she blew your spot up about this whole you begging thing. So you wanted to blow her up and you used the term gaslighting and then tried to pressure her because you knew she wasn't going to back down from you. So that's what you did. And see, now I'm seeing Talene differently now, y'all. I saw it a little bit when it came to her pulling Stansbury to the side. And when her and Lisa got into it, I saw it there and I said it. I said, y'all, Talene was gaslighting then because she wanted to make a problem, make her look angry, make her look like she was a problem. Me and Mrs. Best Boy both pointed that out. She's doing the exact same thing here. I know we're looking at Brooks like her being drunk, her making a big deal out of this whole Stansbury thing. But if you peep game, if you peep what she's doing, Talene is because she knows what she's doing. No, you're not, Jim Bunny. You still right on time. We still talking for a minute. But I saw what she was doing, y'all. She was playing like she didn't know what was going on in order to make Brooks look like an angry ass black woman. She knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She knows exactly what she was doing. And that's exactly what happened. Is that she sit up there and played it because Brooks wasn't, even if she was talking about her, you could have just ignored her and just went about your business and paid attention to Stansbury or whatever the hell you were doing. So I'm telling you, she was mad about that beggar thing. That's what that whole fight was about. Caroline Brooks calling her a beggar because to some degree you may not have begged, but you definitely were persistent. If you're asking her to go to shows and production can actually prove you actually being there. So, Yeah, y'all, as of right now, now she may win me at the end of the season, but as of right now, I don't see it for Talene. I don't see it for her at all because I see what she's doing,
Yeah,
and
that just again, even going way back, her being willing to get cool with Stansberry without giving your friend who defended you against her any form of warning, and then getting upset with that friend about being upset about that, and then pulling this. Everything she did too, the overreacting, in my opinion, made it look disingenuous to me. All the extra hollering and getting heightened, like nothing that was said, no words that were exchanged were that deep. It didn't make sense, but also they were drunk. So, but I do feel like Celine, she definitely utilized Brooke when she got the opportunity.
she sure did.
Yeah.
And Brooks not really feeding him. And then at first, Brooks wasn't feeding into it as much, which is why we looked at her a certain kind of way when she would get angry. But now I kind of see from her point of view, I see it more now in her point of view of what Talene was doing. You were trying to get in good with Stansberry because you realized this was most popular on the show. The same thing could be said about you trying to get in with the other ladies, and you were trying to ice out Lisa Milan first when you got into it with her at that table, which is why you looked at Brooks and was all like, "What's going on here? Why is she talking to me like this?" You were trying to make a moment to make her look angry, the same way you trying to make Brooks look. I see it. I see it. I see you, Talene. It's not cute. I'm just letting you know that. So I do think that two things can be true at the same time. I do think that Brooks did borrow some shit from her to wear on the show. I do believe that, but I also believe that Talene was persistent to make sure she got on the show. I could believe that too. It's all believable to me. But that was pretty much the episode, y'all. I give it an A plus. That was a good episode. That ending part was amazing. Is there anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best?
Um, no, I think we about covered it. I'm looking forward to what happens next week.
Me too. I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how where this goes. I'm more so looking forward to the reunion because I know this reunion is going to be on fire. I cannot wait. And they have not filmed the reunion yet, y'all. They don't. I don't think they plan to film the reunion for another month or so. So you guys know how we do on Real Housewives when they do a reunion. We go over the fashions. We go over who's seated next to Andy in a kind of like an updates video. So we'll have that ready for y'all. But that was it, y'all. Real Housewives of Potomac of Dubai. Tell me what y'all thought about the show. Did you enjoy it? How do you feel about this Talene versus Brooks side? Brooks little fight. Whose side are you on? And that's it. I can't wait to read what you guys got to say. But that was it. Thank you, Mrs. Best, once again for being here. We appreciate you very much. I don't know if I'm going to make it on her channel, but on her channel, she has Basketball Wives coming up this week. And then we'll be on her channel for Dev's House as well. And the next video you guys will get from me will be Family Empire Houston. I believe we'll do that on Saturday. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is Best. Thank you. And you guys have a great night.